Discover solutions to issues that affect your family and professional life with practical information to help you get past life's adversities. Take a proactive approach to power up your life with Rosalie's expert resources.
Do you want to have a family as large as the Brady Bunch? Or would you prefer to have one child to give all your love to? A recent survey of 1,000 women ages 25 to 45 not using a permanent birth control found 50% said the main benefit of not getting pregnant again was enjoying the family they already have, while 72% are interested in permanent family planning methods. Dr. Suzanne Gilsberg-Lenz joins us this morning to discuss a new initiative called Family Size Matters, designed to educate women and their spouse about family planning options. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So tell us about some of the key findings of this survey.
These 1,000 U.S. women, 25 to 45-year-olds, are women who were not currently using a permanent birth control method. One of the things that was actually most interesting to me was that 66% of the 900 women who were using birth control were still using the same birth control that they'd been using before that last pregnancy. So in other words, these are women who've said, I'm done. Our family is where we want to be. We want to enjoy that family that we have, and yet I'm using the same old birth control. And is that really the right thing to be doing? 35% of these women had had a pregnancy scare. So that indicates they're probably not using the right kind of birth control. You know, a lot of mismatch. Over 70% really want to learn more about a permanent birth control method, but you know, they're not having that discussion. So we see this as an opportunity, as a jumping off point for us to have this discussion with people.
I'm one of 6 siblings, and my mother worked hard around the home as well as ran a family business. So for me, I had one son. What options are available to women to plan their family size?
Well, that's a great question, and it really, I think you're looking at just at your own family history, it's very individual. I tell my patients all the time when we talk about pretty much everything, look around the waiting room. Did you guys all look the same? You're not all the same. We don't have the same needs. We don't have the same needs at different times in our own lives. So the issue is looking at where that person is in their life, looking at their personal family history, medical history, and then helping guide decisions that are going to make sense for that person at that time in their life. And permanent birth control needs to be part of the discussion for families that have decided that they're complete, that they're happy where they are.
What questions do women ask more often about family planning after they've had their first child?
Well, I mean, it depends on where they are, because some of the women are women who know they want to have more kids, and some of the women are women who know they don't want to have more kids, and many of them are women who don't know what they want to have. And so again, the issue becomes about individualizing care and just creating opportunities for discussion to educate in partnership with your partner and with your healthcare provider. The thing that's interesting to me, and again is borne out by this great survey that BEAR and Healthy Women Initiative did, is that the discussion is not actually happening as frequently as you would think, and as frequently as I think it needs to happen. So hopefully we're having that discussion now.
What advice can you offer women to help them better determine their needs for their family size?
I don't think it's that they don't want to talk about it. I think that they don't even consider it. And I think the other thing is that, you know, our lives are busy. And you know, when a patient comes into the office to see me, they're on the clock, I'm on the clock, and I think unless one of us advocates, it may not happen. So I'm hopeful that, you know, going to the website, our FamilySizeMatters.com website, is a great opportunity to get some tips and tools to advocate for yourself, so that you have some good questions to talk about with your partner, have some good questions to bring to the doctor. And it would be great if doctors, you know, continue to remember to initiate this conversation as well.
Thank you, Doctor, for joining us this morning to discuss the options and choices available to make the right decision for your family size.
Thanks.
Research reveals why father care is just as essential as mother care for your child, based on the important role of a father in the development of their children. Did you know that the power of fathering experience not only impacts the child, but also the father himself? Engaged fathers live longer, healthier, more satisfied lives. And Love and care from their father is proven to have a meaningful impact on how a child develops. Here to discuss the benefits of having a father positively engage in his child's early life is Dr. Kyle Pruitt, clinical professor at the Yale Child Study Center. Good morning, Dr. Pruitt. This sounds like a very interesting study.
Good morning. Nice to be with you.
Dr. Pruitt, is there a disconnect between society and fathers?
Huge one. We've got society that sort of lets men enjoy the tyranny of low expectations, which is, it's all the mother's job. You just keep the roof fixed, bring home the bacon, everything's fine. She's got it under control. And that couldn't be further from the way children experience their fathers. And in fact, it puts a lot of the blame as well as a lot of the credit on the mother's shoulders, where it may not always belong. We've got some very interesting science about fathering that is fairly new, that tells us children who have the benefit of an engaged dad are ready for school sooner. They're going to have more meaningful friendships. Their jobs are going to be more satisfying. They're going to be better problem solvers. They're going to have strong language skills, which is a surprise since men don't talk. But there are a lot of benefits. But it's not just the science that tells us that, it's the children themselves. And we have another interesting change, which has been going on over the last couple of generations. 86% of today's dads, according to an Ad Council survey, want to be closer to their children than their dads were to them. And that is a good thing, because a lot of the safety net under our children is woven together by those differences between moms and dads.
What male characteristics makes a father's role so unique?
From the beginning, you'll see a 6-week-old baby about ready to be picked up by mom, and you'll see the eyes close a little bit, shoulders relax, ah, mom. Dad goes to pick up the kid, eyes open up, shoulders hunch. Dad, party time. So it's not just the characteristics in the dad, it's the expectations in the child, that they're sort of set up for something different. This is a different kettle of fish than that is. But you'll see it show up in discipline. Moms tend to discipline, when you and I aren't doing well, I'm not so close to you. Dad, when you're misbehaving, you're not going to have any friends. No wonder they don't like you at school. There's an implication for that misbehavior, and it's a real world implication. So you also see dads letting children use their bodies like jungle gyms. Moms, thank you, you've already used my body. I don't want you to play on me that way. Dads often invite it. There's a sensory component to it. So all that stuff adds up to a kid who winds up climbing a tree, may fall out, but he got a better view of the world, didn't he, than the kid who stayed on the ground. So those are some of the metaphorical and real benefits that come to children through the weaving together of both of these.
So how about divorced fathers, Dr. Pruitt? How do they benefit from engaging with their children, although the family unit is no longer together?
Well, first of all, there's never been a typical family. 34% of kids are 18 years old, still living with mom and dad. So the majority is the difference. So after divorce, there's no reason for a dad to feel disengaged if there's a partnership that has been forged before, because those kids now believe, this dad's is in my life, I want your support too. So you stick with it. Some of the same stuff that was good before the divorce can be just as good afterward.
Where can our viewers find more information?
My book, Partnership Parenting, a wonderful website for dads, fatherhood.org, and seehowloveworks.com for this lovely video.
Thank you, Dr. Pruitt, for creating awareness of a father's unique role in the development of their child's life.
Thank you.
Today's dads are not being pampered, according to a new survey that reveals that half of American fathers confess to receiving gifts they do not like. And a third say some family members have even completely forgotten them on Father's Day. To me, that's unheard of. My father was my best friend who helped me even raise my son. And I used to love spoiling him with gifts that I knew he wouldn't go out and buy for himself. Men all have a unique taste, and sometimes they could use a little help. Here to discuss how to pamper your dad or favorite man in your life and give him that fashion makeover he may need is fashion and shopping expert Amy Solinger. Good morning, Amy.
Good morning.
Amy, why do you think some of us never take the time to honor our fathers or special men in our life with a gift that he won't buy for himself?
I mean, honestly, it's kind of sad, but between daily routine and kids, sometimes poor old dad just gets lost in the mix. I mean, it may seem like he doesn't expect much, but what dad doesn't want to feel taken care of and really be king of the castle?
Tell us about a new survey that reveals the way fathers really feel about the gifts they receive each year.
Sure. Harley-Davidson commissioned this amazing survey, and they interviewed over 1,200 real-life fathers about the gifts they've received and their experiences, and the findings are pretty clear. Not all dads are getting their due. They're not getting things that they really like. They did a fantastic gift guide that is going to help you get out of that gift-giving rut and really celebrate dad for the cool person he is by giving him really distinct and unique gifts.
How about those sports enthusiasts? Those men are looking for something special.
Such as baseball. It's a sport that he might like to watch or go to games, and a perfect gift for him are Topps baseball cards, where you can really unplug from your electronic device and do something that's fun and interactive with the kids. With Series 2 cards, they feature notable rookies such as Masahiro Tanaka. So dad can get everything he needs. Between Harley-Davidson and Topps baseball cards, you really can focus on what he likes.
Where can our viewers find more information?
You can go to moretipsforyou.com.
Thanks, Amy, for creating awareness of how to pamper that favorite man in your life.
Thank you.
The Florida's legislature's Office of Economic and Demographic Research predicts Floridians over 60 will represent over 55% of the state's population. Baby boomers are independent spirits who influence everything from politics to popular culture. They're a generation that refuses to compromise, and they're redefining what aging means in America by striving to live healthier, more active lives. Joining us this morning with tips for baby boomers to keep active mentally and physically is TV host and lifestyle expert Mar Jennings. Good morning, Mar.
Good morning, Rosalie. Very well said, by the way.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Many baby boomers are working and raising a family and trying to stay active at the same time. So how do you motivate those older baby boomers to explore activities that they enjoy?
Well, you have to strive to push yourself. Now, Rosalie, I was a former competitive figure skater, and so I retired out of the skating world, but I connected to the sport in a way that just motivated me very organically and naturally. So today when I skate, I don't expect to do the triples or the quads or all the doubles and all the spins. All I do is expect myself to get out there. Connecting with my youth in something that I really enjoyed when I was younger is a key motivator factor when you move forward. And you know, another thing is to also visualize where you want to be in a couple years. You know, I take the skating analogy is that you can't do the quad without doing the single first. So you start there and you work your way to what your ultimate goal is. And the true fountain of youth is to do what you love and love what you do. And the moment you connect with that, you have the passion, you have the drive to actually get out there and to be active. So that's the best place to start.
That's why I'll be working in my 80s. I just need to stay healthy.
Way to go! Maybe even your 90s. Who knows? Why not?
What activities can help boomers stimulate their minds as well as their bodies?
Well, a great one is gardening. Who doesn't love to garden? And without even realizing it, you're getting some wonderful activity and some great exercise. And what about travel? Baby boomers are traveling more than ever right now, and there's some wonderful deals, whether it be taking a cruise or seeking an adventure and everything in between. Travel is another great way to stay active while experiencing the world.
Where can our viewers who are boomers find more information?
Well, you can certainly check out my website, marjennings.com, where you'll find a lot of information for the home, garden, and life. But also go to depend.com, where you can actually hear real personal stories.
Thanks, Mar, for all your boomer tips to stay active and secure.
Absolutely.
According to a study by Financial Engines, America's largest registered independent investment advisor, Many retirees and near retirees are simply unaware of what Social Security claiming options are available. The study found the typical American couple leaves more than $100,000 on the table in lifetime benefits. Joining us with expert advice on retirement planning is Kelly O'Donnell, Executive Vice President of Financial Engines. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning.
Tell us about the startling results of this survey.
Social Security is such a significant part of so many people's retirement. We find that 60% of households are going to rely on Social Security for more than 75% of their retirement income. The challenge is it's very complicated. There are more than 2,700 rules to help benefit or to calculate benefits, and over 8,000 ways a married couple can claim Social Security.
Well, now that's complicated. How can anyone define where to begin and what benefit plans to choose from?
Well, it's a good question. And you know, there hasn't been a lot of discussion or education about the benefits of different Social Security strategies. And that's one of the things we're trying to do by offering our new Social Security planner at financialengines.com for no charge. What we want to do is really be able to help people make more informed choices about Social Security. When you use the planner, you'll be able to put in your and your spouse's estimated claiming dates, and we'll provide different strategies for you to consider to see if you can get more income in retirement.
What's the best age to file and take Social Security?
Well, we typically recommend to our clients that they start thinking about retirement in a more serious way when they hit their 50s. This is at a point where things like catch-up contributions and making sure you're on track for your savings are very important. As you begin to think about Social Security, it's something you want to plan for as a couple if you're married, probably in your late 50s, early 60s. What we find is that, unfortunately, most people think that they should just take Social Security at age 62 or right after they retire. And the fact is that most people will benefit if they actually delay their Social Security.
The survey revealed 73% of participants scored a C or lower. So that means most didn't understand what Social Security options are available to them.
That's right. And the survey also showed that people thought they did. About 75% of the respondents said that they were confident or very confident about making Social Security decisions. And so it just goes to show you really don't know what you don't know. And there's no shame in it. It's complicated. So what we're really trying to do is help people make more informed choices. Really sit down and think about the benefits of delaying. There's many ways that you can delay, whether it's tapping into your retirement accounts, working longer, taking part-time work, or if you're a married couple, really thinking about having the lower earner take Social Security at 62 in order to fund a higher earner maxing out their benefits and taking Social Security at age 70.
So how can our viewers take this online retirement planning quiz?
There's a couple things you can do. First, go to financialengines.com. We have lots of information about Social Security. You can take the quiz, you can learn more about how Social Security works, but then you can use our planner. Our planner is actually going to provide you a personalized action plan in less than 5 minutes. And what it's going to do is help you consider other strategies that may allow you to get more income in retirement.
Thank you, Kelly, for helping to inform our viewers on the complexities and knowledge that's needed to help us plan our retirement accordingly.
Thanks so much for having me.
The Department of Homeland Security is removing nearly 400,000 people annually, including thousands who pose no threat and have family and community ties. While DHS claims to prioritize targets for enforcement, fact is, over 40% of removals don't have any criminal convictions and are largely individuals with immigration and status violations. Joining us this morning is Douglas Stump, president of the American Immigration Lawyers Association, to share the latest immigration policy and what's in store for Americans and U.S. citizens. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning, Rosalie. Thank you for having me.
As the daughter of an immigrant, Our family worked hard, and I worked 3 jobs and put myself through school and found my niche in broadcast journalism. How has America's immigration policies reached this point of crisis?
Well, I think there's some really interesting dynamics at play here. We know that President Obama had ordered a review of his deportation policies, an administrative review of what could be done to provide relief to those individuals who were here unlawfully with long-standing community ties, perhaps those with U.S. citizen children. But he pulled back on that, and he reached out to the House and said, I'm going to give you until August to try to move forward with reform. You know, a year ago, the Senate passed a bill, a comprehensive immigration reform bill. It would fix many of these problems. But the House has set on it, and all they've done is say no. And the House said, no, we won't do anything that's comprehensive. And now they came back and said, no, we won't even do piecemeal legislation. So Obama's going to give them another opportunity, I think, to move forward. If, however, the House doesn't do something by the end of August, you may see President Obama trying to provide some administrative fixes.
And could the consistent gridlock in Congress result in an executive order?
It could possibly result in President Obama issuing some type of prosecutorial discretion like he did for the deferred action childhood arrivals. He could issue a broader grant of deferred action to provide relief for those individuals who are here unlawfully without criminal records, or he could even grant parole in place to provide individuals who qualify with work permits, Social Security cards, driver's license, an opportunity to remain here without the immediate threat of deportation until such time as Congress acts.
Where can our viewers find more information to better educate ourselves and pressure our local politicians?
Well, I think our organization's website may be the best place to start, and that's www.aila.org. There we provide complete analysis of all the pending legislation. We give you position papers set forth by those for reform, those opposed to reform. Just a good place to check out initially.
Thank you, Douglas, for sharing the knowledge on the need for immigration reform and how our viewers can contact their legislators to take the country in the right direction.
Thank you.
The Florida Everglades has become the latest region to react as activists are against all oil drilling and fracking. And the battle over America's energy future continues. Recently, over 3,000 senior-level energy professionals came together to discuss the latest technologies, regulations, and research during New York Energy Week. Joining us this morning is Chris Faulkner, energy expert and CEO of Breitling Energy, and executive producer of the new documentary, Breaking Free, The Shale Rock Revolution. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Rosalie. Thank you.
Chris, you've been very busy. In addition to your new documentary, you've also authored a new book called The Fracking Truth. My editor loves the title, but dislikes fracking. So how do you approach this fracking controversy with everyone?
Look, I think there's some perceived challenges against fracking in this country. I think there's no question about that, and we have dealt with that over the last almost decade now, dealing with environmentalist groups who have a lot of money and are very powerful. And I wrote the book specifically to address those concerns because there's plenty of books out there from academics and scientists and such, but I wanted folks to have a first-hand account of the fracking revolution and what it's done to our country and address those challenges, the safety mechanisms, regulations, et cetera, that surround this controversial technique.
Florida's opponents of fracking are concerned about our fragile environment. Our Florida Panthers could possibly experience an earthquake, or can it affect our water supply?
Well, I think, number one, I think that all of the land of the United States is a fragile environment, and I think that we take every precaution to make sure that there is no damage to the environment, whether it's Florida, Texas, or a state in between. Now, keep in mind that this is a very highly regulated industry. This process has been done since 1940s. It's not new, it's not untested, it's not unproven. And I don't think there's any connection between earthquakes and fracking. Maybe there's water injection well challenges that Florida needs to address as far as the liquids coming out of these wells and where they're put. But I'll tell you that every oil and gas company, safety is a top priority, not just for our workers and our employees, but for the environment and the land that we're in. Because think about this, Rosalie, with social media now, the world is on instant communication. One person in the Middle East can communicate instantly with someone in Florida. Someone's going to know if there's an issue, and it's going to damage the industry reputation. So no, I think that we're going to take precaution at every level to ensure that there is no damage to the environment and or those Florida Panthers.
How does U.S. energy policies affect geopolitics?
Well, I think energy is definitely a national security issue, but more importantly, what's happening around the world right now, you can see energy at the forefront of a lot of these geopolitical challenges we see, from security concerns in Nigeria to Libya having now basically no oil production because of challenges there. Iraq right now is literally under attack, and a lot of the oil assets there could be coming off of line. You know, America produces 8.6 million barrels of oil today. That's up almost 20% 1 year. It's a huge amount of increase in production. We're on the eve of being able to export natural gas from this country. One day soon, I hope we can export crude oil. So things like what's happening in Russia and the Ukraine, the United States can help diffuse those situations. But geopolitics in the Middle East have clashed for as long as we've probably been alive, and I think that's going to continue to be the case there. So no, I think America is now on a global energy stage. I think folks are taking a real look at the fact that we're going to be bigger producer than Saudi Arabia. Possibly by next year, they're producing 9.4 million barrels a day. We're at 8.6. We're right on their heels.
So how will all these ideas from the New York Energy Week affect our entire country as we go forward?
Well, I think what we're trying to do is collaborate. These folks came from all over the world, and they brought their issues and the deals and the things they're dealing with domestically in their specific countries. And what we're wanting to do is collaborate. What's the best pathway forward for America? What happens when America can start exporting crude oil to other countries? What's going to happen when America is going to be exporting natural gas to other countries? And really, how do we get the public perception behind us? And that's been one of the biggest challenges, because there are perceived issues with fracking. They're perceived, not true. But the reality is that I don't want this revolution to stop or slow down. And the reality is that this is expensive oil to get out of the ground. Fracking is the key to this entire treasure trove of oil and gas. I read an article from Pew Research that said almost 55% of Americans don't know what hydrofracking is, but 80% of them don't like it. Those numbers, you know, they don't work. They have to change. So I think we've got to start thinking grassroots and build from there, because that's exactly what the environmentalist groups are doing, and we got to challenge them at a local level.
Thank you, Chris, for joining us to discuss this very controversial U.S. energy process as we go forward.
Thank you.
From planning our family size to planning our retirement, it all begins with taking an active, engaged role with family and our community to ensure our personal and civic responsibilities are met. Share with us how you're planning to protect your family's financial options to break free at facebook.com/Rosely Show, or we'll see you at RoselyArcherShow.com. And enjoy life with your family and friends, and we'll see you soon.